Good morning. This is Dave MacMillan. I just want to remind you, I'm one of the most famous podcasters in the world. As a result of all the shit that's happened in Caloundra, yeah, thanks for that. But what I was going to say is that I found out in the course of nearly being abducted by people here on the Sunshine Coast and attacked by Satan worshippers that there is an organization that the top Australian Federal Police officer announced maybe 2 or 3 days ago. She was talking about this organization that's penetrating Australia, that's like tasking young people with violent things to do. Okay, so they are called 764, and they're a decentralized, internationally operating online sextortion network that is ideologically aligned with a satanic, misanthropic, and accelerationist terror network called the Order of Nine Angels. It emerged in 2021 from the CVLT network. Although 764 has been described as a satanic neo-Nazi cult by multiple sources, investigations suggest that its members' misanthropic worldview and sadistic tendencies are more significant drivers, with group dynamics playing a key role in further radicalization. Members of 764 frequently adopt the corresponding symbolisms, but are primarily described as being motivated by sadism. And they are a part of the motorcycle gang culture here. There's people with 764 tattoos, people that wear heavy metal t-shirts and go the heavy metal scene that are into 764 culture. So the first time I heard about 764 was at Felicity Park when Shane came up to me and said to me that something about cutting my head off, that they'll pay him if he cuts my head off with a bottle, but it has to be on CCTV. And then I ran away from him and I went up to Sokuri and I was getting dinner there, and he showed up with a glass bottle out the front and he was calling me out there and he was going to cut my head off in front of everybody. And Robin saw it. Okay. So this mental case, a homeless person, had been given the task to take me down. So when the police and the magistrate and the banditos and all of these people got to the point that their harassment campaign wasn't working with me, they made contact with the 764. Okay. So 764 is classified as a terror network by the United States Department of Justice and is considered terrorist tier 1 investigative matter by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police similarly classifies 764 as an ideologically violent extremist network. Okay, so this network was founded in 2021 by Bradley Chance Cadenhead. At the age of 15, school dropout, Cadenhead, alias Felix, learned techniques of exploiting minors and sextortion on Discord server of CVLT and subsequently founded the 764. In the online game Minecraft, Cadenhead met an unknown person who assisted him in establishing 764. The 764 network is primarily active on Discord and Telegram, and to some extent on the gaming platform Roblox and Minecraft. I fucking fight with my niece and nephew about this all the time. I tell them that they shouldn't be on talking to people on there because you don't know who's who. It's all publicly active on online forums. Its members are involved in systematic sexual, physical, and psychological abuse of minors through sextortion and other practices, and in distributing child pornographic material and depiction of violence. They are also involved in sex trafficking, kidnapping, holding people and raping them and murdering them type of shit to adults. Okay. People going disappearing, right? So victims are selected from the 9 to 17-year-old age group with preference for children from marginalized backgrounds or with mental health issues. Caden Head was bullied during his school years, and they call him an easy target. He started this crazy out of terrorist organization. Okay, so the influences is all there. No lives matter, sextortion. So I've been sextorted because of my telephones by the police here for fucking 5 years, right? So I'm not surprised that once you get into sextortion, that it leads to their connections with the 764. Okay, so you can see here, when it comes to the numbers and everything, right? The motorcycle gangs and all of that, they use their postcode, okay? And that is kind of like, that's a 764 organization thing. So there are people here in Australia that are mainstreamly involved in sexual sadism, violent sexual sadism. You can meet them at the porno shop, or you just meet them around. Okay, there's people that are just like, I just like that, right? So when you're up in Nambour and you're at the heavy metal show and the punk rock show, everybody there is like a punk, a goth, an alternative, or a 764. And there's a lot of 764s up there. And I've been fighting 764 culture, like with my branding with Billy Joe Armstrong and everybody, and Green Day, and letting Damon and everybody know, because there's this Satan devil worshipping street gang that has worked its way into onto the Sunshine Coast, right? I found out about it when I was doing the banning notices, okay? And when I've been attacked by particular people, people said, did you notice that they had a tattoo on their neck or something? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what does it say? I was like, why? They're like, did it have 76 on there or 764 on there? I was like, yep. They're like, do you know what that means, man? I'm like, no. Look it up. And I was told by a girl who graduated from Justice, right, here in Queensland, who is kind of writing a book about everything. She told me about the cult. She told me about how they all identify as part of the cult. So, like with the police, right? Before, what you decide, what you usually can do, and what makes you feel uncomfortable is you can create a situation with somebody and then let their life play out in a way that it's not affecting your life. When you chose to start trouble with me, that's never really going to be an option. So I've been fighting these 764 people, right, who are abducting and raping and getting people into drugs. And then 3rd Brigade, 3rd Battalion, these guys are my fans. All these military people and stuff and police all around the country and all around the world are my fans. And I've been talking out against this. You won't listen to me. So I'm the bad guy for telling you that all of these people that are coming after me, that are all like gangsters and stuff, that are all wearing heavy metal shirts with 764 on there and into antisocial misanthropic behavior. I'm not into misanthropic behavior. I like everything to be clean and organized and everybody to be quiet and nice. I'm not here. I'm not into mess making. So this mess has been made by the 764 cult in Nambour, who are strong, and the 764 cult in Caloundra that are strong too, that are involved with the fishing and the gangsters and stuff. So I met this guy before who's friends with them, who had his face tattooed like a clown and everything, and they're into weird shit. They're all into sex dungeons and all this type of stuff, and they're like supposed to be regular people. So Who's running around telling the 764 that it'll be a good thing if Dave dies online and it'll be cool? And so we've just got to load it up so the person that kills him doesn't hesitate because they think he's a pedophile or whatever because of the stuff that we've made up. And so you put the 764 and the motorcycle gangs, the little 764 fucking hitman on me, and he stabbed up Jordan. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so I kicked 100%. I kicked the person that was stabbing Jordan in the head, and I'll show you. Okay. Right? There's someone on the ground like this going stab, 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 stab. BJJ, you can't grab this. There's a knife here. Everything here, broken bottle. All around here is a weapon here. And he's doing this and he's going stab, stab into somebody's neck here. Right? What option did I have? Could I grab the person that has the thing? No. Could I punch the person who's like this with a bottle on somebody? No. Could I grapple somebody? He'd cut my fucking head off, he'd kill me. So my only option was bang, and then his hand comes up with the bottle and it goes back down, bang, hand comes up, bang, 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 and then I broke my foot. So the QPS, their option wouldn't have been to tase or to kick. They would have shot him. If they saw somebody prone on top of somebody stabbing them with a bottle, their training would have been to use lethal force. Okay. So, you don't automatically get somebody's support or their loyalty as a fan. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I got to say about everybody. I got to thank everybody who's got me anywhere, really, because like people don't owe you their fucking loyalty as a fan. And these people here, they think that we have fans and we're police and we're cool and we run the show, so they owe us loyalty. Your fans don't owe you loyalty, man. You owe your fans humility. Always. That's why I'm famous. I've got people who support me all around the world. People that you listen to on the radio here in Australia every day that know who I am, that understand where I'm coming from in some ways, or you know what I mean? And I like Debbie Harry and she likes me too. And she was talking, she was saying she's a voyeur and stuff and everything. Of course, I know that she is, and I like it because I'm into that. I'm that way too. So, but that's not like a whack ass thing or anything like that. It's just like me just being honest. Like, but our scene has been taken over by like gamers, man. You know, like before we were playing like computer games at home or whatever, and then we go out to the show, but we weren't like taking our computer gamer identity into the punk show. And that's a weird thing that this young generation does. But I've seen it. So like you go to a social, like at the boxing club, and there's everybody there's drinking and hanging out and stuff, and then there's the police. And then you see the police are like, they're all just like, oh yeah, hanging out with each other, like really, really dead shits, really like boring dead shits, and it's like, oh, grandpa and grandma, that's what they're like, right? So grandpa and grandma finish the party, they go home, but then grandpa and grandma have guns and qualified immunity, and then they don't. This is the thing that I don't like about the cop, that I think is fucked about the cops here. They live in their ego. They can't step out and see the consequences of their actions playing out and how it comes back to them, because you're used to it never being able to blow back on you. Usually you don't start all the trouble that you started with an international figure like me, who doesn't care about money or anything like that, or amount of likes or anything like that, or views, just cares about communication, just cares about connection with everybody out there. So whether it's Moscow, Kiev, Bangkok, Phnom Penh, Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, Bien Hoa City, Sunshine Coast, I can be at all of those places at once, right? Maybe you can't, but I can be. You can be too. Maybe you're not brave enough to be, but nobody will listen to you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why people listen to me, but I appreciate that they do. I do. I got to say, I appreciate. With me, I love Howard, Rogan, all those dudes. And they got me into this stuff in the first place. And then there's all the fighters and everything. So all the older generation know that the young generation are into some sick shit that the older generations weren't involved in. And then now, like, so I've seen here, the gangsters in the underworld are using these 764 people as, what would you call it, as their army to do their dirty work. So if you've they put tasks up online for the people like the dude that shot Charlie Kirk to do. That's what they do, right? So what I've said before is the police here have been playing a crazy game and associating with accelerator groups and stuff like that, and bringing in accelerator groups against me, right? And what I've said is they're afraid that I've got a gun and I'm going to come after them with a gun. If you take my life and my livelihood away, I have so many fans here in Queensland that are armed and are angry that I don't have to, or in Australia or in the world. I've got so many fucking fans that are disciplined people that are angry, that have firearms that are very low key. But if push comes to shove, we're all ready to fight the corruption in this country. We're ready to bear arms, all of us together, to take down these corrupt people if we need to, because we don't want our kids to have to deal with what they've been putting people like me through, because they don't like punk, they don't like alternative culture, they don't like Nirvana. I'm sorry, I never listened to Nevermind. That's what they're like, right? Never listened to Green Day. They're not my generation. They're not shit, bro. Sorry. They're not mental as anything, bro. Fuck it. They're the biggest rock and roll band in the world. We'll just say, fuck you, Green Day. They're fucking gay anyway. Look at them. They look like Dave. They color their hair. They must be fucking gays. So this is a weird thing. It's like you guys are all identify this, identify that. And I'm like, yeah, you identify however the fuck you want. I'm an old liberal. I don't give a fuck. Okay. Be who you want to be. I don't give a fuck. But then when you're coming at me and discriminating against me and telling me that I am you and I am this is what's going on. He's a gay, or he's a this, or he's a fucking it's like, Deegan, I could see you're a fucking creep. If they let you go on society, you would fucking rape, murder, kill everybody. I can see it. They're doing it even as police officers in Queensland. They're continuing it on. So I'm not here to be a policeman. My dad was health and safety, and I've been doing security since I was young. And now I work on, I've always worked on the operational, but technical operational. Policification is the process that I have created. So, as I said, it's taking the principle of policing and applying it in licensed venues and stuff like that to cover areas of, like, where there's blind spots in process, right? So what I do is I take scientific policing, principles of scientific policing and behavioral science, and then I apply it in a sociological context. And so far in this year, it's been across a couple of venues, right, on the Sunshine Coast. People always asking, what am I? What are you? Can you explain yourself? All this type of stuff. You're dressed as junior. You're here dressed as junior staff, but like, look at how you look. You look like a fucking rock star, and people tell me that you're fucking famous and all this type of shit. People coming up and saying, Tim, your name's Tim, right? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, sorry. They thought. So then there's wires crossed. People thinking that I'm Tim Armstrong from Rancid. It's like, no, I'm Dave MacMillan, but I'm a huge fan of Tim Armstrong, and they are, because see, like with Rancid and Green Day and stuff, we're AA. They're AA guys, man. That's how I got into AA, because I knew that they were AA. When I had an alcohol problem, I got into AA. So Alcoholics Anonymous people, man, we're into not into fucked up stuff, but if you put me into that environment, I used to be an alcoholic in that environment, and they know, I think the thing that AA people think is really weird about me is how I can be around alcohol and that never, ever in 10 million years be tempted. That's why most of the AA guys have to go to AA, because they couldn't do that. But I'm one of the rare people who can work around alcohol and never be tempted by alcohol. So, what happened was, you created a problem, and then you're told you can't go around him, but now you've got him hooked on you and stuff and all this. So you've just got to create an opposite reality. So the thing is you can see the things that they've said about me, right? The rude and crazy shit that they've said about me, that they have concocted during the process, the legal process of the green light to clean up the venue for the local member of parliament. So I was working for senior policeman, doing a cleanup. I've got to say, this was a Liberal National Party and One Nation and Liberal National Party told me to do it. Nathan is One Nation, and so this is weird, right? I'm just a contractor. I'll come in and fucking do the job. If you're being a bad motherfucker, you're a bad guy. You're a bad guy. I don't care if I fucking know you. I don't care if I got you to fucking vote. If I got you to vote, this is it. It's like in Scotland, right? If you give somebody a reference for a job in Scotland and they fuck you over, right? It's the same thing. So, that's what's been going on here. That's what you're encouraging. And that's what I've been calling out. Okay. And these police operations, they cost Green Day being able to play in Queensland. Really, they did. Because even before the storm was announced, Green Day knew about the stabbing that had happened because I fucking told Mass straight away. Sent an email out. Right? So I have so many fucking fans in Vietnam that you guys don't even know about. You don't even know what's going on, right? And it's cool for me to connect with people from Vietnam. But I'm here to stay, and I'm here to do university and stuff, and I'm here to make sure that you guys that have broken the law and have lied and have taken space in this community are getting the fuck out, or it's going to cost. And it's not be on me, it's on you, and I'm not going to be the one pulling the fucking trigger. A lot of people don't like you. They don't like even the police. Like, do you think they want to get fucking put in the basket that you put them into every day, man? You know what I mean? Good night, babies. Good morning, everybody.